All right, so getting back to normal is going to happen. Yes, it's going to be a new normal, meaning everything's not going to be exactly the same as it was. And we know that some of our clients have completely closed their practices during this time, and some are open specifically just for emergencies. But just like all other storms of the past, this coronavirus epidemic will pass. And it's very important that going back into life, going back into a normal routine, it's as smooth as possible, as the whole goal really is to minimize the amount of potential damage that can happen. That's damage in relation to, loss of clients, income, staff, and all the other things that a flourishing dental practice needs to survive. So what I went ahead and did, based on some intensive research, is distill down and simplify 3 things that your dental practice can do now to get prepared for when things are getting back to normal. So in other words, you're going to be 10 steps ahead. Of course, there are some things that are still unknown. For example, we don't know how long exactly this is going to last. But again, being prepared is going to give you a huge advantage. And it also really looks good for your public relations, because that's important too, right? And it's not just looking good, but it's doing the right things, being a leader, and showing that you're taking all measures to get back to business seriously, so that you can service your clients and they know you're out to service them the best you can. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So first thing on the list is a plan. I know this is a very general word, a plan, but it can really help to write some prioritized actions on how you're going to approach this. In terms of communications, sequence, prioritization. You can ask yourself, how can we make getting back to normal, smooth as possible? How can we make things smooth as possible as we get back to normal? And if you just think with that as your result, what you're trying to achieve, and build all of your plan around that, any of the things that you write up. And I highly recommend keeping it very simple, easy to interpret and understand by all staff that are going to participate in the plan. And, being realistic, So, think about policies, think about operating changes. And some of the examples with other practices are, how are they going to sanitize the practice, clean the practice, and how they're going to communicate about that and promote that so their public knows they're taking all measures when this is done and over to keep things clean, simple, moving forward, and following all protocol that's needed. 2, goes without saying, but coordination is key to this. Making sure that all staff are on the same page. They have an understanding of the plan as needed, of course, by staff member and their specific role or hat in the practice. And, that goes by having meetings, which you can do. By the way, you can't really see the tip here because it's behind me. There you go. Now you can see it. So I write this on each one of these points. All the above can be coordinated remotely by email, video meetings, and phone. So that's something to keep in mind as you go through any of your planning, anything you're doing right now. There's a lot of options out there in terms of digital communications, and we use them every single day. So nearly all of this can be done, with exception to any physical actions in the office, obviously can be carried out digitally. Now, this is something we brewed up internally, we started thinking about. And this is basically the same as the previous steps, with the exception that this is a communication going out to your public. These are active clients or anyone that's pending, was in the wings when all of this started. And of course, putting notices up on social media profiles, on your website, anywhere where your potential public would be locating or reading about you. And this does, again, apply to existing public and potential public. But we were looking at the idea of making the recommendation of sending, having every practice send out a letter to all active clients, sending out a separate or the same letter to all potential clients. Basically, let them know all the measures you've taken to follow all coronavirus, protocol in the office and how you're moving forward and the simple things that each of those public can do, to move forward through this, and knowing basically you're taking measures to prepare and get everything ready, from a health perspective and any other perspective and policy that you have to follow and adhere by law to get things back moving forward again in a proper format in your state, in your city, etc. So we highly recommend an open communication letter, very simple to read, to all of your existing public and potential public, about all the measures you're taking to move forward and what you're doing. Again, keeping it very simple, a half a page or less if possible, just bullet pointing out the items. And of course, giving a contact median method, phone number, email address, whatever it might be during this circumstance, so that you can, dovetail out of this situation with minimal damage and moving forward through 2020 and into 21, hoping this is just a blip on the radar for the year. Now, of course, we all want that. And no plan is going to be absolutely precision perfect, but at least you can take these actions, these steps to start to get ready as we move out and phase out of whenever the time might be, when we phase out of the urgency of the COVID epidemic that we're facing right now. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for watching, and best of luck to you. And of course, you can always contact us, goldendentalmarketing.com. Reach out by email through our contact form, or just give us a call if you have any questions. Have a great day.